Hello and welcome viewers. You're watching Perspective with your host Kruti Mishra. Union Home Minister Amit Shah launched the Vibrant Villages program in Kibito, a village along the India-China border. And for a deeper understanding of the implications of this move, I'm joined by an illustrious panel of guests. Joining us in the studio, Mr. Suresh K. Goyal, Firm Ambassador. Welcome to Sunset TV Ambassador. Also joining us, Major General Retired Ashwini Kumar Sivach, Defence Expert. Welcome to Sunset TV General. And also we have with us Mr. Deepak Diwan, Senior Journalist. A very warm welcome, Mr. Diwan. And joining us through virtual platform, Mr. Sreeram Chaulia, Foreign Affairs Expert. A very warm welcome, Dr. Chaulia. Let me go across to Dr. Chaulia. Dr. Chaulia, General Sivach says that offense is the best defense and our stance has changed completely. Your thoughts?
Definitely, Kriti. I think India's strategic culture has shifted. In the Narendra Modi era, what we are seeing is willingness to take risks, willingness to also stare down the adversary. Because earlier, the mindset was that will the Chinese be upset? What if they are upset by anything we do? And will we be able to withstand the blowback effect of a Chinese retaliation? So now I think we are factoring those in, and we have also got a strong strategic partnerships now with the Quad countries, especially, and we are using the geospatial intelligence and mapping from our near ally-like countries to monitor the Chinese movements better and the infrastructure and their demographic strategies on their side. So, demography is important, and these Vibrant Villages program is a recognition that border areas is not just land, it's full of people.
That's true.
And those people's loyalties are important. They need to feel secure. And of course, they are also important to be able to keep an eye on what is happening on the other side. These are very high Himalayan frontiers we're talking about, where both Chinese are also trying to weaponize the population on their side. So we have to take adequate measures to make sure the security and well-being of people on our side is also a primary concern for us. And as far as the infrastructure goes and the mindset, yes, now we are saying that we are not going to be deterred by Chinese threats or any preemptive moves by the Chinese. So, like General was saying, we don't need anybody's permission for Amit Shah ji to be in Arunachal Pradesh.
That's true.
So let them object. Let them go to town saying that this is a violation of confidence building or of border agreements and all these things. Let them say it. It's a political thing for them to say. The Chinese always do this. They are always trying to needle and poke us. But I think we need to do whatever is in our core national interest without, batting an eyelid. And that now we are doing, so it takes courage, because even 2020, the incursions they made in Ladakh, in the western sector, were meant to put pressure on us not to do the border infrastructure and the socioeconomic development of our villages. But the fact we are going ahead undeterred, that is a big signal. I think the Chinese are seeing a different India now. And it's not just the mirror deployment. If they've got 60,000, we got 60,000 on our side. Like generally saying, we also have counter-offensive capabilities, and we have shown it also on what the Chinese claim to be their side of LAC. So I think, of course, the dialogue and all these things are also going on, but the border round after round of negotiations have not yielded much Chinese concessions.
That's true.
Chinese understand strength. They respect an organized and structured adversary. And I think what we are trying to say is, look, we are organized and structured now. You cannot just browbeat us, or you cannot just steamroll over us. So I think these are important, border development programs, and overall they add up to a strong and secure frontier. So the Chinese cannot make any inroads actually.
Absolutely.
Once the populations are settled and they are there, and we bring in more people, there's no way the Chinese can then, show a new map and say this area is always belong to China. That what they call cartographic aggression. So I think border areas development is primary, and the Modi government has understood it. And we have really invested not just in the physical infrastructure, but in the people and the human resources. And in the, a lot of these areas also have Tibetan communities, which are on both sides. On the Chinese occupied Tibet as well. So the loyalties of the Tibetan community is very important. The succession of the Dalai Lama is very important. These are all big geostrategic points of value where India has to be smart and proactive, and we are showing that proactiveness through this Vibrant Villages program.
Dr. Chaulia, Ambassador Goyal said that we have to carefully calibrate our strategic objectives and carefully determine what we want to show to the world and what we don't have to show to the world. Your thoughts?
Look, I think when you are conventionally inferior to the other side, you have to actually show a certain sense of urgency to catch up. So there's no question of being judicious or being deliberative about this anymore. There's been already enough thinking has gone into this, and this is a very well thought out and planned, effort to beef up our defensive, capabilities, and also to give us a launching pad for counteroffensives. So I think if you look at it that way, there's no need to further reflect, because this is the time for action, in the sense, and that's what Modi government is showing through action. They are transforming the entire LAC, 3,488 kilometers. You're talking about very, very inhospitable terrain, and there where we were seen as a soft state in the past, which could be run over or which could be just bullied. Now we are saying we are standing up for our rights. And I think that's a big significant change. And I think assertiveness and a muscular approach is actually necessary going forward, because the Chinese are not amenable to any kind of reason or sweet talk. What they are basically saying is, if you are strong enough, well, we'll see. But if you are weak, we will trample you. We will crush you. That is the Chinese mindset. The Xi Jinping ideology is simply to assert hegemony over weaker neighbors and to show, Chinese dominance and China as superior. So for India, I think really what we need to do now is more. For example, we have also increased the number of ITBP, Indo-Tibetan Border Police battalions.
Yeah,
and that's a very significant addition linked to this border development that we are doing now with the villages. So all these will help send the signal that we are beefing up, and by the way, the Chinese have to contend on the eastern seaboard with what they call the primary strategic focus, which is Taiwan, and the challenge from Japan and the US. So we have some advantages of terrain in the Himalayas, and I think our military has shown that it has the capacity to use those to apply countervailing pressure on the Chinese. So all I'm saying is that we need to have that mindset of not shying away from a contest. And I think that's what we are showing through all this, that the catch-up is on, and we are not going to be defensive about this anymore, in the sense it's not like we need anybody's approval or consultation. But of course, there may be ecological concerns. That's different. But I'm talking from the geostrategic point of view. Whatever we are building is long due. And so we need to be in a hurry, and we need to actually do it in a redouble and do it in a much faster and bigger scale than has been, because India was like a tortoise. Now we are like trying to run like a hare or leap like a tiger, So I think this is the big change in the Modi era, and this must be continued, and we must persist with this more assertive approach, because the soft state approach will mean that the Chinese will have you for lunch. That is their attitude, and the Marxist-Leninist dogma and their belief in the neo-Maoist that power flows from the barrel of a gun. So the only situation where they will respect and stop doing these incursions or attempt to grab our land is when we show them strength. So I think this is the time to show strength, and this is the time to be patriotic and to stand up to them and to show the Chinese that we can be their equal and we can match them at least along certain areas of conventional power.
Dr. Chaulia, quick response there.
See, only thing I'll say is, India is a democracy. Chinese can build infrastructure and keep it under wraps. You can't expect a democracy like ours, where there is party politics and all these things, where people will just quietly do everything under cover, and these are people who are voters in elections and all that. So the point is Northeast development and also Western sector development, all these are part of our vibrant democracy. Vibrant village is part of vibrant democracy. So some degree of, public announcement is also necessary, even from a strategic point of view, not just domestic democratic reasons. It's also kind of signaling. See, if we are not revealing everything, we are not showing them the insides of our tunnels, right, and how they have been built and how resistant they are, and where how many troops they can carry and all that. They will be trying to glean those, the Chinese, through their own intelligence sources and through their own satellite and other, like just as we are using all our strategic partners to check in on what they are up to. So I don't think we are revealing anything really strategic out here by announcing Amit Shah ji's being there. It gives confidence to the nation also. You see, in democracies, you have to mobilize and rally the whole country.
Absolutely.
The Chinese, they just do, propaganda and they censorship-based approach to mobilization. They don't, they rely mostly on the PLA and their forces, and now they are weaponizing the local Tibetans on their side in the Chinese occupied Tibet. But our thing is, we need the confidence of the people. We have to take people along, and ultimately that is how we can resist a stronger opponent like China. So I think people need to be invested. As you know, border areas, people can be hopeless. People can become cynical, as we talked about. And people can also wonder, am I being crushed in the battle of giants between two sides? Am I somewhere caught in between? So that creates a kind of a buffer zone kind of a mentality, not a clear territorial control mentality of India or of Indian sovereignty. So we don't want that. So I think what we are trying to do through this program is confidence building of the whole nation, especially of the people living in those areas who have felt neglected and even betrayed by India in the past, during previous governments. Now we are saying, we will not betray you. You are our people.
That's
and we'll
true.
do everything for your security and safety and well-being. So I think these are big messages
Right,
and
sir.
signaling that we are doing, and it's necessary because the narrative also goes across to the other side. If our troop movements, our military doctrines, our chief of defense staff was in eastern sector, and he was talking about to forces and commanders about offensive, counter-offensive, all those things. Those obviously need not be revealed. But I think to show the Chinese that people in these regions do not accept the Chinese claims. The Chinese are saying these are all part of South Tibet and this belongs to us. We are saying, no, these people are actually, loyal citizens of India and they will stand up to you. So I think it's very important
Absolutely.
moral
Dr. Chaulia?
boosting function, a
Absolutely.
psychological preparation of the nation to face a long-term struggle against this bully or this adversary up north. We need to do these kind of declaratory and demonstrative things.
On that note, thank you so much for joining us, Ambassador Goyal, General Sivach, Mr. Diwan, and Dr. Chaulia.